Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. We're here 5 nights a week, 7 o'clock Central, InfoWars Nightly News at prisonplanet.tv. Let me try to be a little more disciplined. Let me attempt, because I've only probably got 200 articles here in front of me. Every one of them I could spend 3 hours on. Here's CBS News out of Hercules. Where is Hercules? It says the Lupine Hills Elementary School in Hercules. In fact, I had this last night and didn't cover it because I meant to go do a search and find out where Hercules is first. I guess it's outside San Francisco. That's what it looks like. Yeah, it is. A East Bay dad claims a game of tag on the playground resulted in his 6-year-old son being accused of sexual assault. And the school, it goes on, says that touching someone on the leg is sexual assault, and he's now going to be listed as basically a sexual offender and has been put in a database. Yeah, I see this all the time in the news, and they've got a local magazine called Busted, a weekly newspaper that comes out, and sometimes I'll buy it and look through it. Mainly it's DWI. Sometimes you see, urinating in public, sexual indecency. And I see the reports where people pull off on the highway now in the middle of nowhere, like we all did growing up, and you go in the bushes and the cops pull up and run over and say, what were you doing? And if you're honest, they go over and get samples and everything, put you in handcuffs and take you to jail because they've been ordered to. And when I was up at Bilderberg 2006 in Ottawa, Canada, in a suburb of it, the hotel was built out in a kind of defense contractor complex with like lakes and ponds and geese everywhere. It was well out. It was like 20 miles outside Ottawa or 15 miles outside. So it was big hotels and golf courses built in the countryside. And all there was this hotel, and then, a half-mile away, a defense contractor building with barbed wire fences. So there was nowhere to go to the bathroom. And the cops were all ordered, sometimes more than 20 of them, so it was about 10 squad cars at any one time, to be parked all around there. And I guess they didn't want to go through all the security procedures to go in to the Brooksfield Hotel to urinate. So they would all just go across the street to a field and woods and urinate. And, of course, the protesters over the 3 days were doing the same thing. So I'd talk to the police. Most of them are really, really nice. And I was like, in the U.S., they arrest us. And he goes, arrest you for going to the bathroom in the woods? And he goes, yeah, I've heard that. I go, but I see you guys going over there. And he goes, well, what are we supposed to do? And I go, exactly. So are you going to arrest us for going over there? And he goes, no. That's ridiculous. See, in America is so sick. I hear about it all the time. I know business people and others who've been in national forest urinating up against a tree, and the ranger comes over and handcuffs them. We're being turned into totally domesticated creatures that live in a false environment. I said I'd discipline myself and cover 200 articles. Of course, it's not going to happen. Here is this CBS News out of Hercules, a suburb of San Francisco. And going back over a decade ago, they first banned dodgeball, everybody's favorite game. Then they banned tag, and they banned wrestling, and then they banned touching. Guys, people won't believe this. Search running at recess banned. There'll be hundreds of articles. That's been and running is now could be dangerous. You could fall down. You could skin your knee. And so they're banning running, and they were playing tag, against the other on the leg, tackling them. What now if a coach slaps you on the back or the good job, oh, sexual assault, take him to jail. Meanwhile, DynCorp and Halliburton are in the Chicago Tribune, Associated Press. This is 5 years ago. but hundreds of articles you can pull up where they're on record with C-130s and women and children they've grabbed at gunpoint, loading them up, and the UN does it, flying them to Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Israel, where they're actual sex slaves, and sometimes they snuff film them. This came out on Italian TV. They actually, this was Russian-connected gangsters that were doing that, blowing the children's heads off. And they were selling the videos to Hollywood rich people. It came out in a few articles in the U.S. They were selling the videos for as much, they reported, for $50,000 per VHS. This is like 5-6 years ago. VHS tapes of, I'm not going to even say what the Italian news blurred it and played it on national TV, and they actually got fired for it. But it was 2-year-olds being raped and then having their heads blown off with revolvers. This is the type of stuff. So again, in this criminal, there's Town Hall, running at recess, banned. They banned running at recess, and the police arrest you. There you go. Town Hall, George Will. The police arrest you. So the police arrest you for running or for playing tag, arrest you. But the Fortune 100 defense contractors, the UN, just type in UN's sexual abuse, UN raping children. I mean, it's every day it's in the news. These are brigades of pedophile sickos who love getting paid near minimum wage and stomping around in the worst cesspits in the world because they can kill and murder whoever they want. It is hunting, raping, killing, slaughtering, raping women, full-grown men, children. You can type into the search engine, UN troops barbecuing children, UN troops raping. I mean, it's all there. Newspaper articles, all of it. I mean, just, it is a hell force. UN troops in South Sudan raping children, Daily Telegraph. That was from when? Yeah, that's 2007. But again, I mean, it's just unlimited. That's just the first thing they pulled up. So this is how the criminals operate. The opium is publicly grown by our troops and loaded on C-130s and shipped into Europe and the United States. Pat Tillman wrote letters home saying he was going to come back and talk about it, so they just murdered him. You're talking about $500 billion just in opium out of there, another $500 billion, same number, in total drugs brought into the U.S. every year. There's BBC, peacekeepers abusing children. They're loading them on C-130s. The highest dollar ones are Southern and Eastern and Western European children. And they're engaged in every evil under the sun publicly, but all these Hollywood people who are concerned about sex trafficking, that's the big trendy thing now, the system always takes over the fight against breast cancer, the fight against children being kidnapped, the fight against any abuse that's going on, so they can control the debate and control the advocacy and then collect money from the public that they actually use to shut down cowboy grassroots traffickers in drugs, in organs, in diamonds, in children. These are models that are used. And they have movies against the blood diamonds, which is really... Now, there it is. Aid workers raping children, major charities running child kidnapping rings. That's good, guys. I mean, people can go find it for themselves because every time they put the articles on screen, I kind of turn and start reading them on air. It's an unlimited, bottomless black pit directly into the vortex of hell with unlimited criminal government, rendition flights, torture, torturing children. Why do you think at every one of the torture bases in Iraq, the Army's own reports, just type in Army report on torture and abuse at Abu Ghraib, and you will get the big PDF. Read the hundreds of pages. The phosphoric acid on the children, all of it. I mean, this is dungeon keeper, Jeffrey Dahmer, beyond anything you can imagine. And why do you think it goes on everywhere? Because it's what they like to do. And they sell you on torture like it's a good thing. to get the bad guys to keep you safe. When in truth, this is a society of psychos and pit demons who want to openly do what they do safely because they want the big bonanza America and Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. They want to do here what they've done all over the world. Now, this is how it works. They publicly, in the 80s and 90s, got caught shipping cocaine in and still run it all in and still constantly get caught. Nobody gets in trouble. The government does. And select corporations and the banks that launder it. They're bringing in the opium, all of it. And when they get caught, their new thing, I know I marvel every day about this, is to think about this. Have Fox, CNN, MSNBC, BBC, ABC News all make excuses that the troops help grow the opium. Because if they don't, the Al-Qaeda will, and they'll get the money. That's what Brzezinski says in his book, Between Two Ages, written back in the 70s. Let me give you the actual publishing date. I'm going from memory that it was written in the 70s. I did read this when I was in college. Yeah, 1970. He says, the governments of the world control organized crime because that makes it manageable. That's how they sell the excuse. Makes it manageable, grabbing kids off playgrounds and putting them on C-130s to take them so Saudi Arabian royalty can rape them and blow their heads off if they feel like it? No, the government has raced to the bottom and is purely satanic and demonic and filthy, serial killing, murdering demons. None of us are safe. Hell has been released, okay? It's already going on. The New World Order isn't coming. It's already here. Everybody gets upset when the troops shoot dogs or blow people's sheep up in Afghanistan or Iraq for fun, or torture a puppy on video, because we haven't been taught, haven't seen simulated murders of dogs millions of times on TV. We've seen simulated murders of humans where we see it as entertainment now. We've lost our humanity. But through animals and all these groups wanting to protect animals, which I think is fine, we can find our humanity. What about children? What about a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, grabbed out of their backyard, grabbed out of the public school? Or a lot of times they have CPS come in and shop for the kids they want, and the kid just disappears. Remember 6-7 years ago, CNN was reporting thousands of children missing that CPS had taken. They were finding them buried and dead and in foreign countries. And then that politically went to the top of the CPS, where the entire leadership were convicted pedophiles. And then the story stopped right there. It stopped because it went too high. See, there's not complete control in the media yet. There's still reporters that want to get the truth out. But when they find out just how bad it is, when it breaks through to the other side, that's why I say I've seen reality. I've really totally